brothers. How you doing?
Man.
It's great to be here. Tell you what, all my life, I was born and raised here in Tucson, in Phoenix. You know, this is my city. I could go with a billion different sites to go, you know, talk, but I'm gonna say, I could take you to the middle of my life, to the end. But I tell you the beginning, and then later on, but I want to write a book about it. I really do. It's horrible to really see things the way the world is.
Right.
It's really sad.
Man.
You know, I saw Brother Branham the first time I saw him. It was in the year of 1947. Okay. I was at the age of 9 years old. At that time I was third grade probably, or second grade. I know they didn't pass me in. I'd spent 2 years in the first grade. That's a little, it happened like an accident. There was no TV. I was born in 38, and that's first year when I was, there was no TV.
That's right.
You know, if somebody had it, it was real rich people had it. I think the first TV was, I was in the 7th grade. Just think about it, that was 1952. Some people might have had it in the 50s, but very, very. But I remember everything, the hardest thing for me growing up was that being one of the youngest ones. My dad, you know about him, he was a minister. And when I was like 4 and 5 years old, I remember Charlotte getting married, the oldest one. The second one, Nati, I remember that. Of course, it was like, and then Loss came along after that. But the years that went by, growing up, I want you to know something about me. I was close to a mute. If you look at stutterers, there's a lot of kinds of stutterers, from 1 to 10, to the 9, it would be, they can't hardly say a word. I couldn't say one word. I was mute. In 1947, Brother Branham, when he came to Phoenix, he prayed for me, and I spoke after that. He turned me around to, he would, everybody that he was praying for, he showed, like if they couldn't hear, they put it to the audience and all that stuff. Well, when he came to me, he put me face the crowd, right? I was looking at him, and then he faced me to face the crowd. You know what stage fright is?
Yeah.
Well, he wanted me to say something, I couldn't say it. I didn't say it. So he just went ahead and went to the next. I felt embarrassed, that second. But then I could talk. I was fine. So at that age now, 9 years old, I was in 3rd grade. But going back to the 1st grade, I remember not only couldn't I speak English, I was not a mute. It's hard to communicate. The teacher on the 3rd grade, I remember she put me to read, and they're all laughing at me.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't even get a word out.
Mhm.
She did it on purpose. She did it on purpose. So I went and told my mother in my own way, and she gave me a note to give to her. When I went up to the teacher, I went like this. Girl, like. She got all red, embarrassed, and I said to my mom later on, I said, "What did you write?" He said, "It's not his fault. God made him that way." So she was all embarrassed. But I remember Brother Branham from an early age, and I never forgot it. Things work out. For some reason, we're like this right now. No, really, really. I didn't know that Alex had I heard something that he started, and Ernie started a mission. I didn't know where it was at or whatever. And you know the things that happened with Johnny. So I went and visited him a couple times. I sang a couple songs. But growing up, I tell you what, it's always been to me that I always fear the Lord. Fear, you know, it's a fear that you have. And I remember reading, I had a little book, you know, like a little Bible, and I memorized it. Even though couldn't speak, but I memorized it. And to this day, I still remember, you know, like in the beginning was the Word.
Man.
And it's in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God.
Man.
And the Word was God.
Yes, man.
You know, so in Him was life. And life was, all things were made by Him.
Yes.
Everything that was made by Him.
Yes.
In Him was life. You know, you talk about abortion. Right? In Him was life, and the light was the light of men.
Amen.
And the light shines in darkness.
Yes.
And that darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. I remember I said before Brother Branham came.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. If you see pictures of Brother Branham, we need of his ministry. Just think about that. It's really amazing. I'm just going to talk a little bit. But later on, I'm going to go into a lot of stuff. But right now, I just want to talk a little bit about tainting. You know when you taint somebody, your name. Verona is name. If you do something bad, you taint the name.
Yes.
You know, you'll make it dirty, you know. So, right away, I'm going to read something up. Keep going. This in him was, and there was a man sent from God whose name was John. All that's memorized. Stay with me. He was not. Remember, he said, and it said, he was the life, and the light was the light of men. He says, and then it says, there was a man sent from God whose name was John.
Yes.
And I said, and back then, I remember we used to wait for him to get there it would be for hours, brothers. When he came, he had about 4 services or 5. I don't know how many were. You remember that? I think he had a service in Oakland from the time the angel saw him. Maybe he prayed for somebody in St. Louis and Chicago, but then he had a very small in Oakland, and then he had services in Phoenix. This is the beginning for Brother Brendan.
Nah.
They all rejected him. In places. If you fast forward it to when he went to Tucson, he was there. I was there in May of '65, and I was there in May. It was the birthday of my father-in-law, so I know the date. So we left California, May the 18th, and then he got in a car accident on December the 18th. To the day. Just think about the numbers, huh? It's crazy. I mean, you look at stuff, how God put you through something that falls on like that. So I would like, now I remember he said, I'm going to go back to the little verse I said. There was some man sent from God named John. And then he says, he was not that light, but came to bear witness of that light. We are a light to the world.
Yes.
But he is the light.
Man.
Yes. You know, it's hard in the Old Testament when they went through the Red Sea. They went through it. Right there, it said it was celebrating, and the word says, "The Lord." Just think about it. The Lord is the man of war.
Man. Right.
And you look at, but see, people see that as if you're a believer from the seed from the Lord, you take it as you know how it comes, what it means. If you take it on the wrong side, it's awful. See, God is a man of love. You know
Yes.
that. But the way he explains it, it's powerful. It's strong. So I've always wanted to protect what I thought that was good from the Lord. And then I remember my father, when he was, it was 2 years later, we're across the street of our home. And he mentioned the word, he said, pobrecito. He's talking Spanish. La mano Brandon. Porque no cree en las lenguas o el Espíritu Santo. You know, it was not the evidence. And that's what I told my dad, no, Papa, pobrecito usted. Él es el profeta de Dios. That's what I told my dad. So I always wanted to protect a thing that belonged to God. It was a gift from God. It was that Brother Branham brought.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. In all the things that when I believed on his ministry, I always had a feeling of protection of even standing up for it or not being quiet about it. You see something going wrong and you want to protect.
Man.
Anything that belongs to the Lord, you have to stand up for it. And you know, and you don't let things go on and not say anything because you are responsible.
Yes.
You know, when I was growing up, I was telling you. Now the years went by, and it was so hard to understand because at that time when they received my dad, the Apostolic Church kicked him out. It was like in 50. And your mother, Alex, your mother Charlotte, I don't know if you know this, she told my dad, I think I dreamt we left town, Phoenix, and we left the town in a red truck. And then months went by, time went by, and my dad, we left in the red truck. Charlotte, granddad. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a journey that we.
Man.
Let's go back. Let's go talk about a little bit of the Bible. How Paul had a journey.
Yes.
Remember, he had the first journey. He went with Barnabas
Yes.
and Mark.
Yes.
His nephew. And he left. Mark left. He was tough, a little bit tough, so he left. Maybe he was homesick, whatever the reason.
Yeah.
But then from there on, it was a second. He went and Luke went with him. And the other people went with him, but Luke went with him in the second. He went there with the third. And the fourth one was when they took him prisoner, take him to Rome. They chose it. The historians say that Luke went there with him to Rome. I read it. And it's so tough. You know the letters that he wrote, Brother St. Paul?
Yeah.
He wrote the letters. He wrote 13 letters, just think about it. 13 letters, okay? Some was to a church. Philemon was, Timothy was a personal letter.
Yeah.
Really?
Man.
Okay. Titus is a personal letter. He's not a church, he's a Titus.
Yes.
And then the second letter he wrote to Timothy is another. But anyway, he wrote 6 letters when he was free. During the first journey, second journey, and third journey. And he wrote 6 letters. 7 of them, it was from prison. He thought, he wake up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he read that 8. He was alone with Luke. When the biggest book we ever read in the Bible, the biggest book, the greatest book to me, besides Genesis, is Revelation. It was John. Okay. And Just think, he wrote 7 letters from prison, 6 when he was free. It is so important that we're around the corner right now. You know, when you're talking around the corner of the Great Tribulation right now.
Yes.
If you think you think you're close to God. You got a lot of people. You'll find out how close you got when you are. I've been in Tucson many years. You know, in Mexico, I have so much success, brothers. Let me tell you. You know, when we have conventions here with the brothers here in November, you know, you got the brothers, you got Pettis, the brothers.
Yes.
And they speak, and the other, Tommy Sr., he had a stroke, so all these brothers that speak here. I've gone to Cuernavaca. It's in Mexico. I've been to every place in Mexico. It's so beautiful. I never one time, I've been to churches that I went in 87, I started going in 87. I had to go preach in 87. I'll tell you the reason what happened. When I came here to Tucson, this is gonna be hurt a little bit. I had, going back, I'm not gonna talk about my daughter, my sister, my wife, my beautiful wife, Rosie. When the Lord called me, she got cancer. The Lord knew at the time, because that was the time that I was going to, you know, I was just growing up. I was young. In 1960, I was in January. I was born in 38, so you figure the years. Close to 22 years old, right? And it was tough. But I want to go into something else. I decided right there, when the Lord told me that I would just serve Him for the rest of my life, and I wanted to do something for Brother Branham. At the age of 22, I was not married to my wife. I've known her since she was a freshman in high school, and I was a senior. And we grew up, you know, and going to church. We were like, we're Christians. We were raised with Christian parents. But in 1959, she got this bone cancer that they gave her 6 months to live. And then that's when I said, you know, she was in the hospital. I said, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go talk. I'm gonna call Brother Branham. So at that time I said, I saw her in the hospital, and then she looked at me like, who's Brother Branham? But I mentioned to her about Brother Branham. But this is serious now. She, you know, when somebody tell you, you're gonna die in 6 months. And then it says she had the bone, there was a type of bone cancer you have that goes to your lungs. That's the worst one. And then you're gone when it hits your lungs. So that every month they were taking x-rays from her after that. But I went to my house and I called Brother Branham, and he was not there. So somebody was there and answered the phone. And then when he answered the phone, he said, Brother Branham's not here. I said, and I told him all the information. But this is, just think about the words that I used. I used, you tell Brother Branham, baby, if he says that you'll be fine, I'll believe him to be a prophet. If you're getting, and so then when I went and told her, I called Brother Branham, so they're gonna tell him. So I got home, and my mom said, he said, they called from Jeffersonville, and she said that Brother Branham said she's gonna be fine. Okay, just think about this. But a week went by, a month went by, 2 months went by, and she still was a precious. But let me tell you something about what I did. And Alex just found out today when I told you about this. I remember at one time that, because this was the year 59, right? So I kept track of how's Brother Brandon, yes, and checking a little bit about it. Just think I was 9 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13, 15, 16. I was still, where's Brother Brandon? What's he doing? Well, in 52, I found out that in 52, he had a nervous breakdown. Brother Brandon, he was overworked.
Yes.
He was overworked. So what happened? Let's go back to 47, when Brother Brandon was here and my dad. You know, Brother Brandon, we were in the church there. All the kids, all the little kids, you know, like 10, 9, 7, 6. I was 9. We're all, so everybody have a seat, adults.
Yes.
So I put all the kids up here.
Yes. Right.
Put the kids. I was right here, right there. Yeah, I think it had 4 services. I sat down right there. So he was speaking. I was that part. I was watching him, sitting down, like sitting down, looking at Brother Brennan. Remember when I read memorized that there was a man sent from God whose name was John. Remember?
Yes.
And he said, I think the first sermon he preached something like children in the wilderness.
Yes.
I think it was one of the first ones. So he said that the angel appeared over the river. He said, as John the Baptist foreran his first coming, his message will forerun the second coming.
Yes.
And I looked and I oh wow, you see, I remember that stayed with me.
Yes, sir.
So remember all the time that he was praying for the sick, and they were lined up. They were an amazing one after the other, and you would see all the miracles that happened. So and you could see that they would pull them out, carry them out, you know, drag them out. Okay, they didn't know about that. My dad told him. See, my dad found out he was fasting and then praying. So my dad told him. Remember, 1947, my dad said,
Yes.
Brother Branham, through interpreted my mom. He said, you shouldn't fast because you have a gift, you know, so much because he's fasting a lot. He said, you're gonna get sick. Told him. Well, 52, it happened, right?
Yes.
So that impacted me a little bit. Now, 59 is 7 years later. Now my girlfriend is dying. Okay. Now I believe what he said. So she's gonna be fine. She's in crutches. Don't worry about it. Take him off. You go ahead and walk with him. So you know, I got teased about it. Well, I'm not gonna go into that right now.
No.
So what happened when I said I'm gonna give my heart to the Lord? This will be 60. Get this. In 60. And I said, I'm gonna fast for his ministry. So I did it. On Monday, no, I cut hair. So I went to the barbershop, no water, no food. And then I worked all day, went home, and went to sleep, no supper. And then the next morning, took your shower, brush your teeth, get ready, go to work, no water, no food, okay? And then went home went to sleep. The third day, Wednesday, no water and no food. That's it. Just think about it. I'm thinking, I'm gonna do this 1 week. This is what I was thinking about at that moment. Wednesday, I drank some water at the end of the day, and then food I ate. Man, that food tastes good. But let me tell you, it was no water. Just think about it. And I was so excited. So I eat foods Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was so happy. And I'm gonna do it again. It's crazy. I want to do it again. I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. No food though, no water next week.
Yes.
Okay? And then remember, I was 22. And then I was with my mom. My mom, all the embarrassments that you go through, my dad left my mom. Just think about that. You don't want to tell the world about any things like this. We're talking about it right now. So, now, 2 weeks went by. Third week, I do it again. Crazy. I did it the fourth week. I did it month after month, 4 years without stopping. You had it. 3 days, 56 weeks. Multiply that in 4 years. I did it. But let's go back to the second, on the third week, or fourth month. It happened in 1 month, and then second month, and then the third month. On the fourth month, I'm like sitting down by myself, you know, and then this light bulb flying from here over there, and we're like, what was that? First time it happened, right? And then we'll go on a couple of days, and somebody take a picture of you, but nobody taking a picture of you. There's a light after light after light after light. You're thinking, oh my God, what's going on? Now, the years go by. Remember the letter that Paul wrote to Timothy? Peter's? A year ago, I remember I fasted 4 years. On the second year, I got married. 60 went by. Because before I say we're getting married, I'm gonna tell you, we got to finish about my wife. When she had walking with the crutches all this time, you know, I'll tell you what happened. You know, the denominational apostolics, they saw me in downtown. Yeah, I heard Brother Branham pray for her. Right? I heard she got healed, and then she walking with the crutches. I said, you don't see me worried, do you? He said, well, what do you worry about? I told him. So I said, I was tough. You see me worried? No, but don't worry about it. She's fine. You know, that's the way I was a tough guy. I did it. So,
yes,
I'm gonna go to where, remember it's the end of the year. It was 60 when she was sick. And then it was around November, 9 months. We're not married. I had no control. Her parents, apostolics, didn't go to church, but their offsprings are apostolics.
yes.
Because her uncle was a bishop.
Right.
So I took her to the hospital. So in the morning at 7 o'clock, I remember that, 7 o'clock, they're gonna take her leg off. Amputate the leg, your bone. Huh? So I talked to the doctor in the hallway, said, sir, no. And then he looks in my face and says, so you're the one that's putting this all into her head. So you're the one, right? So I just looked at him like this, how it's going on. So I went to the room, her mother was there, and my mother, Antonia, my mother Antonia, and her mother. And I was looking at she's laying there, and I look up to the ceiling, I look up. I said, Lord, I never doubted your prophet, never doubted your prophet. And just think about what I just said in my mind. Why are you having healed? Just think about this. Why? But so you just think of what I thought. I want to repeat it. I said, I never doubted your prophet. Why having you healed her? And then I said, but it's okay. If you take her, go ahead, I still love you. Okay? And just then that light came down. About as big as this, like that. It went around and around, and it got long, bigger, and got it on the bed, right? It was in the evening. So remember, tomorrow morning they're gonna cut her leg off.
Yes.
So now I'm there, and I'm going, did you see that? I'm going to my mother-in-law, she had tears, my mom too. He said, and I'm going like, it's done, you know? So in the morning, I gotta get up, be there before 7. And the doctors, a big old smile, they had no excuse. I mean, they saw something.
My.
So in 2 months, okay, this is like in November. So December came by, January we got married on the 22nd of November. She walked down the aisle.
Amen.
Yeah, with no crushes or nothing. This is the year of 61. We got, so I've been married since 61 with Rosie. You saw her this morning. And so it's when that happened right there. Remember the light I told you about?
Yeah.
That once in a while, see, but I did, listen to me, I never called Brother Brennan. Brother Brennan, I'm fasting for you, not. Do you know I fasted? You didn't. Ernie did, I never told nobody.
No.
My mother only, and then we got married in January of 61, and her mother, her father, get this, after all this, he was upset, her father, that we got married. And my wife cried, every day for weeks. But anyway, so this is 61, so remember, all this time, I'm fasting now, we're married, and I decided that I wanted to go and pray to, out of town. It was in the year 61.
Amen.
And he was in Tulare, Brother Brennan. Let me think, it was a 61 or 62. It had to be, I hate to tell you it's 61 if it's 60, but I think it was 61. 61 because we were barely married, and I went to pray. I used to have services at a place, and Paul reminded me when he was alive, he says, hey Benny, remember when we went to Madeira, we used to go preach, Paul. And there's a brother Freichel that lived there, and we had a great gathering in a house, right? And the neighbors called the fire department because the house was on fire.
Wow.
And Paul told me, he reminded me, hey Benny, remember that time? And the year that Paul, let me see, it was, Paulie was, he was born, Paulie, you know Paulie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Right.
He was born with a clubfoot. He was I'll show you. See the side of here, right here?
Yes.
What's right here?
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
That's Maria, she's alive, that's her.
Yeah.
She was born like that. You know Maria?
Mhm.
You guys know Maria? Ask her. Remember all the time I was fasting, now I could run on water. I mean, let me tell you, I was like walking happy all the time. I was fasting for, there was a reason I was doing it, and I was happy, and it was tough, challenges. I was cutting hair in the presence of the Lord, I'm cutting hair, and the guy was looking at me like the guy that was demon possessed.
My.
Let me tell you, it was like, sometimes, there's a little touchy. We're walking down the street, and the people walking down, get out of my way, I'm walking down just the street. I fasted, all the time I was fasting. And then, but when I went there to Madeira, they told me that a sister was dying of cancer. So they didn't mention it to me. And about that, for some reason we came in, Paul came back. And then on my own, I went there to pray for her. And then when I got to Madeira, I told the brothers, it was about an hour and a half. It's like from here to Tucson, San Jose, Madeira. So when I went, I said, where's the sisters that are very sick with cancer? And they told me the hospital, the room number, and everything. I walked in there, and I walked in there inside, and I said, sister, don't be afraid. That's what I told her. Don't be afraid. I came to pray for you. Remember, I just went there, asked the brother where she was at, went to pray for her, and then went to San Jose. I went every other week or something. And so now I'm at Madeira 2 weeks later, and they're all like you guys, all hugging me. All hugging me. Brother Brandon saw you. Brother Brandon saw you. And I said, what are you talking about? When did he see me? He said, well, he was in Tulare, which Tulare is real nice, nearby, so it was the Tulare Visalia series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and you know what he preached on that day? Be not afraid.
Amen.
And what I thought. Now, I gave this testimony, this, what I'm just telling you right now, in 2016 in, off of Mexico City, Cuernavaca, okay? And see right there, the picture right there, see the light right there?
Amen.
It came out, the sister took a picture, filmed of 45 minutes of the sermon. I preached 45 minutes. In 3 minutes and 31 seconds, it shows the light. But then she came in the next day, she said, look, brother, and I was like, wow. And it came out.
Yeah.
And behind, right there, it got the picture of the cloud, where my head is right around there right there, and the brother Brandon halo right there.
Amen.
And this brother, I got, it's a film of 3 minutes and 31 seconds, so they still the picture, and so when I'm talking, it's a different motion, more like this, or whatever.